in positive gamma. Retail traders and institutions are just buying every dip. And of course, meme stocks are coming back in town. So together, we'll take a closer look at what the market is telling us to do and also some of the names we can continue to look at and some new opportunities we can consider taking this week. Of course, on your SPY, the weekly close, we took out the high, we're in positive gamma, but the volume has been on the decline, right? If we're looking at the daily, after surging for, look at this, pretty dramatically, and on Friday's session, we were not able to push it down any further. So that is telling you there's no sellers currently in this market right now. So theoretically, we'll just take it out higher. I think we're making all-time high today. I think futures are up at the time of this recording. So far so good. We want to look at the VIX. I mean, clearly we have been compressed downwards, and also the VIX trender has turned, and we're in the red area on the daily. We haven't really took out on 1427. That would be a very pivotal point for me to consider. Hey, there might not be any more fear in this market. That has yet to happen. If we're looking at the weekly, of course, we're still in the expansion area, but VIX trender has also turned red. Okay, that is telling you, yeah, the market is not expecting any large swing to the upside for VIX at the moment. Of course, you know I've been liking Oracle. The weekly close has just been monster. Higher highs and higher lows. I mean, don't be fooled by this candle over here because that is great volume, but that is also really telling you this volume was largely contributed by the downside and also the upside, but that's also telling you we are not able to close below 20 weekly moving average. This is looking as good as it can be, right? We obviously talked about this. After this, we are consolidating and breaking out to the upside. Once we got down here, obviously closed above 20 days moving average. Very weak buying, but that is still not any cause for concern because you want to see the selling to come through. This is your selling. Okay, this is higher highs and higher lows. And very good close as well, right? Even if it closes around like 173.39, still very bullish, right? We are defending the low from the previous session. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So much ever since the start of the year because look at this. The 3-month chart, we have been compressed down and on the declining volume, and of course, it got the attention that it deserved. We are almost challenging that high at $86.56. Okay. If we're looking at the weekly, right, that was your trend line. We broke above it. Obviously, higher highs and higher lows above all the moving averages. And if you are looking at daily, yeah, also volume's pretty nice. The bulls came back out the last second to bring the market back in the green. If we want to take another closer look, right? At first, we are here, and then we got beaten down pretty badly, and we went up to test the resistance. We failed, but this time we were able to find support. We based around this area for 5 days, and then you can see a lot of liquidity over here. Look at the wick, right? Around 78.6. There's a lot of buying down there. It sent the stock higher, obviously breaking the trend line. And the past couple years, every time there's a major trend line being broken, we will always cool down a little bit, grabbing all the liquidity, making sure that all the day traders are trapped over here, and found this huge wick, right? It's higher than what it was before. Now the liquidity zone has moved up from 78.6 all the way to $80 plus. Now we just closed green on all the 4-hour time frame over here. And even though the VIX trend is still red, as long as we're still trading above this trend line, but you have to know this. If the trend line somehow breaks again, this is not a signal for you to go long anymore, okay? Looking at 2 hours, we're still in the expansion mode. Big trender also turned, which is telling you if we can make just a little bit of movement here, 4 hour big trender can also turn as well. All right, and also wanted to talk about Eli Lilly. This is clearly lower highs, right? But we're still in the expansion mode. And weekly also very nice. Volume has just been going away. After breaking this trend line, we have been moving up very heavily. Now, yeah, so as long as we are still within the green area, I think this is a pretty nice trade to take. Obviously, looking at the volume, some people are trying to get out, but I think consumer discretionary, actually not consumer discretionary, I think healthcare absolutely deserve more attention for 2025 just because we are still expecting a little bit of drawdown some point in 2025. Okay, look at DeepSeek, look at the tariffs, right? Any bad news can really accelerate the selling in this market just because the multiples are so high. We have been like, if you're just going back to SPY, look at the three month chart, right? We are way above all the major moving averages. This is where things can get a little funky, right? When we are so extended, usually we have the tendency to go down to test these moving averages and we see the reaction from the market. If it reacts well, we go higher. If it doesn't, guess what? Recession coming, right? I'm not calling for a recession anytime soon, but I do think the market is not cheap right now, and we have to be careful about how we are deploying our capital here. On Google, of course, if you're looking at the multiples, this is obviously very cheap, okay? And Nancy Pelosi hasn't sold, then why should you? Right, on the weekly, obviously we knew about the crash from the earnings, but we have been closing above the 20 weekly moving average twice now, and also volume has been on the decline. Usually that is telling you the market is performing pretty well relatively, then Google can actually get some pretty nice buying pivotal kind of movement going forward. On the daily, obviously it doesn't look as nice. We did have higher highs and higher lows. And if we want to take a look over here, right, we are rejecting this 2 hour moving average. If we can get above it and stabilizing above it, this is pretty nice, right? Then you should really consider taking long on Google. Google, I guess, for any price at any given time is always a good buy. So there you go. Just consider high highs. And if you want to look at the 4 hours, I mean, the close is not as good, but this is telling you some big money is coming in and very minimal selling that we can see afterwards. Um, Dell, yeah. I was in this trade after breaking this trend line, but I didn't stay in the trade for long enough. That was my stop loss. It didn't hit. I took my profit over here, and the big news just came in, right? Send the stock even higher. I didn't take part in that. But let's take a look. We're obviously rejecting this moving average on the hourly, on the weekly, that is. Still looking nice. Daily, that's pretty monster. But if we keep rejecting and if we keep staying below this level, I would consider getting out. But right now, there's a lot of momentum. I do think this name can go even higher from here. And Starbucks, I know it's probably too late to talk about Starbucks. How did it move, right? On 3 month chart, huge higher highs and higher lows. Look at the volume, BX also term, and boom, right? Ever since January, this name has just been ripping like there's no tomorrow. Look at this. This is clearly higher highs and higher lows with declining volume, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we even open gap up above 113.6. If you're looking at the weekly, this is as good as it gets, okay? Higher highs and higher lows, and any dip is getting bought up, right? and the volume also has been going away. Another healthcare name aside from Eli Lilly I wanted to take a look at is Amgen. And we talked about this on the channel previously that Amgen, every time we kissed this major moving average on the 3 month chart, we always tend to bounce, okay? And we hit it here. We found support above the previous low, right? It was 253.3. Now it is 257.05. I think it's only a matter of time before this name hits another all-time high. It's a very good name in the Dow. Um, it's a good long-term investment. It's a good trading opportunity even at the moment right now, just because we obviously found support on this 20 weekly moving average. And as long as we are able to find some support near the end of the week above the major moving average and also declining on the volume, BX also turned green on the higher high and also across. Mind you, that's a very bullish signal. Um, Lower high but higher low, but please make sure that you know if you want to play this, if we break below, make another lower low, getting out of the position entirely. Okay, 4 hours, yeah, we haven't really seen, to really validate this trade, we want to see a big green candle over here with very determining volume and very weak selling afterwards. That is your signal to really consider going long in this market. Okay. TSM. Of course, the news came out because of that. Intel takeover, splitting between TSM and Broadcom. I think that's a very good momentum. TSM is on my radar. Look at this. Obviously, it's not the same kind of setup. It's actually lower high than lower low. But as long as we got very good buying near the end of the week and above 20 weekly moving average, I think TSM is looking pretty well. Yeah, but to play this, of course, this just look like, I mean, if it breaks this green area, that's no good. But if we can stay above 20 days moving average, this name is going to just go higher, way higher from there. Of course, we knew about PayPal getting beaten down pretty badly, but it has just shown some sign of life. Just like Google, right? Very good week, right? We stay within the expansion area. That is the green area over here. And the volume also suggests this thing can obviously already found some very nice support. 4 hour, this is good. This is the kind of 4 hour chart that you really like, okay? Green up and very slow selling afterwards. And this is happening yet again. And across and turn green every time. I'm not going to say every time, but 8 out of 10 times when we see the BX turn after huge, brutal selling with a cross, with green, big buyers coming in, weakening selling pressure. Usually that means we can go up higher from there. Okay, but of course, have your stop loss accordingly, just because what do we know, right? This is still a series of lower highs and lower lows. But if you want to spot a trend early, if you want to ride a trend out for a few weeks plus, or potentially even longer than that, this is a pretty good start. It's not really validated just yet, just because we want to take out the high and stay above this moving average, but it is a pretty sweet level. I can see that some people are already getting into this trade. All right, and that is your update for today. Once again, this is not any financial advice. You're trading on your own risk. I'm just providing you with what I'm seeing in the market. Please make sure you do whatever feels comfortable and always be controlling your risk. And we have only 4 trading sessions this week. I will check back with you tomorrow and have another breakdown on the market for the first trading day of the week. And until then, happy trading. Bye for now.